What is up, YouTube? And today we are going to be looking at a Nilu showcase once again, but this time in DokiDoki in Inferno. So you're going to see that this run that I just did was 10 wins and 0 losses, and it's basically a one-shot comp where we are killing the first wave with Rilmocha, and then she kills the second wave as well. So the runs are going to be 1 minute when everything goes well, but you're going to see that there's some runs here that are like 140 or even 340. And if you guys have seen other one-shot comps in the past, or are even, using one, you'll know that if you do a one-shot comp and you miss one debuff on either wave, you usually end up just losing the run because your Rilmocha can't, kill the waves fast enough, and your team just dies very, very quickly. However, with this team that I'm going to show you featuring Nilu, you're going to see that the win rate on this isn't actually 100%, even though this is 100. It's probably around like 95-ish, which is still very good for a one-shot comp. So if you're looking for a very fast team with a very high win rate, that even if you miss debuffs due to bad RNG because there's innate 10% resist, you can still win because, we're able to bring Lingluo because we're using this team comp here. And we also have Nilu, who provides a very good speed buff and pushes your DPS to reset her cooldowns faster and just does a lot, right? So I'm showing you guys the team. It's very, very simple how it works. You also don't need, a very fast opener with this team comp. And basically, the way that it works is we have Lingluo being our fastest. So usually with Lingluo, you actually don't really need to have a healer in these one-shot comps, right? But Lingluo is very good because she has immunity. And I found the sweet spot to be her speed at like 275. This is going to be a lower speed requirement than other characters like Mia or Marvel that you have to bring in here, where you have to get them to like 280 something, 286 I believe. So you want her to be 275 because you want her to cut after the first 2 adds on the first wave so that she puts up immunity and heals your team. That way your Rilmocha cannot get attacked down by the 3rd and 4th add. Pretty important. You want to make sure she's 275. I also have her on Bulwark because I don't want her to get speed debuffed on the first wave. Very optional. This is just to min-max to up the win rate, but definitely not needed. Just aim for around 275 speed and you should be good to go. The next character that we are running is going to be Kazuyo. So you might be looking at my Kazuyo build and being like, what the hell? How is this working? I was using a faster Kazuyo on my free-to-play account on like Hell 2 or something like that. And yes, that's true, but you don't need her to be that fast. The most important thing you need her to do is be the second slowest on your team, and you want her to still be faster than your Rilmocha, right? And on top of that, you want her on Time Weave, and you also want her on Codex. Now, the reason why you want her on Time Weave is because in the cases that you don't end up one-shotting, the first wave and the second wave, and the run doesn't go as planned, you want her to reset the cooldown of her S3, so you actually have more CCs going out, so you can actually, stall the fight long enough so your heals come back and your CDs come back and you can win. So you definitely want her on Time Weave. After that, you want her on full effect accuracy, of course. 200% is the bare minimum. And then you want her on a Codex so she resets the cooldown of her S3 so she can S3 the first wave, then S3 the second wave. But you're going to see I'm on a level 10 Codex because I don't really have any other Codexes to use. So that is also why my speed is very low. But the only thing you have to know is put her on Time Weave, 12 Time Weave, put her on a Codex, make sure she has enough effect accuracy, and make sure she is the second slowest on your team. Next up, we have our Kloss. So you want Kloss. If you don't have Kloss, you can bring Dinah. Dinah works as well, the red character. And basically, you want this character to go after your Lingluo or after your Nilu. Second or third is fine. It doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure they're on full effect accuracy. And that's pretty much it. Full effect accuracy and Codex so that she S3s twice on the first and second wave. And basically, that's all you really need them to do, just because you want to land that defense break and whatever other debuff that they're bringing. Kloss brings speed down and hacking progress, which is great. Dinah brings the other defense break, the super defense break, whatever it's called. Now, the next character that you want to go either second or third, like I mentioned, Kloss and Nilu's speed is pretty interchangeable, is going to be your Nilu, the star of the show. Now, you want to make sure that her S2 and S3 are maxed, ideally. I only have my S2 maxed, it's fine. Honestly, it doesn't really matter too much, but the reason why she's so good here is because she provides a speed buff. So if you end up not actually one-shotting the first and second wave cleanly, you get a speed buff for 3 turns, which allows you to catch up on your CDs and CC. And she's also good because she applies Vulnerable as a debuff this gives you another debuff to work with momentum, and it also just makes them take a ton more damage. It's not an empty debuff just to fill up the momentum, debuff, list. This makes them take way more damage, so it's really strong. Also, on top of that, you're boosting your DPS so that they cycle very quickly. This works out very well with this team comp because when you boost your DPS, you're also healing them, and you also cycle them faster to get their cooldowns back, and also allow them to proc their Whale Prayer that Lingluo applies on your team so that they can heal even more. Basically, in a sense, it's a full meter push. You heal them by 50%, and then the Whale Prayer ticks, and they're top to full HP, so it's very good. The S1 is a vulnerable. Doesn't matter too much. This only comes into effect when you actually fail the one-shot and then you're single targeting something down. This can get them low enough or apply the debuff so that Rilmocha can one-shot with her S3. Next, we have Rilmocha. You need her S3 maxed. Basically, it's a pretty simple build. You put her on count here, and you just want full damage because you need her to do as much damage as possible. Not really replaceable. Count is like a must-have. And then you just put her on Momentum Fury. You can see my count shell is literally Keen Eye, Fury, Swift Raid. I'm literally only using the Fury part and it still works. You just need Momentum Fury and it just makes it so that she does the most damage as possible. If you can get her onto Fury Edge, it's even better and even easier. But for me, I have her on this setup and just full damage, right? I have her on, I think, crit rate, crit damage. Yeah, and you just want 85% crit rate because she's green, so she gets an extra 15% from Elemental Advantage. So, it might seem very weird to you. It's pretty hard to actually see until you, or understand until you see it, how it works, just by watching the run, which I'll show you right now. But basically, this team makes it so that it's really hard to fail because, even if you do fail the one shot of this run, you have a lot of ways to catch up back on your CDs and also just sustain through, right? Usual one-shot teams will run Mio and Beyonce instead of Nilu and Lingluo, which are just two squishy characters that just end up dying. Mio is there to put the turn meter back on the first wave, and then Beyonce's here to buff your team with this attack and crit damage, mostly just for your DPS, for your Rilmocha. So she's just here to boost your Rilmocha damage, but Nilu does that with her S3 because of the fact that she has vulnerable, but then she also provides the speed buff that Mio provides, but even better in case you fail the one shot, while also healing, while also turn cycling, and also on top of this, you're able to open up another slot. So you just bring in a healer like Lingluo to make the run stable, even if you fail the one shot. So I know I did a lot of talking. I'll just show you guys how the run works and you can see for yourself. So I'll show you guys the run now. Literally the same gear. Nothing's changed. You can literally see my Kazuyo still on stale gear. As long as she's faster than Rilmocha, it is fine. But basically what we're going for is just, either one-shotting the first and second wave. If it does happen, I'll show you guys the situation where it doesn't actually one shot, so you can see how we recover. But basically, when you start the run, you want to make sure that your settings are set to security A or B. It doesn't really matter, this first. And then on wave 2, you want anything but the Elite Valor because you want to hit the squishiest target first, the lowest HP one, so that Rilmocha has an easier time one-shotting here. So basically, you'll see this is why my Lingluo is speed tuned here, and also on Bulwark, so she doesn't get that speed debuff if she gets unlucky. And then she applies immunity to everyone, and then basically you can see they aren't getting debuffed. Those two middle ads have an attack down and defense down, and we really don't want that attack down on my Rilmocha. And then you can see my Nilu goes after my Kloss, and then you'll also see my Kazuyo goes right after. I did miss the vulnerable on the main target, which is fine. You can see that my Rilmocha is still able to clear because this team has so many debuffs. And then now we are on the second wave. And basically the same thing will happen where we're just, putting the debuffs up. And in the situation one misses, like the defense break or the sleep, and we can't one-shot, you'll see that we can recover. And Lingluo is fast, so that she will wake up the ad before Rilmocha goes in, which will reduce the damage. But it ends up not mattering. I tried to mess around with the speed tuning. You can probably fix it, but I couldn't figure it out, and it doesn't really matter for my team. So that's the run where it actually will one-shot. I'll show you one. I'll try to just keep farming it and try to find one where it doesn't one-shot, and I'll show you what happens then. And here, I think this run will not one-shot because we missed like 3 debuffs. Maybe it will. Let's see. I'm fairly certain this won't. Yeah, you can see this doesn't one-shot the first wave because we missed, I think it was like 3 debuffs there. So basically, now we're forced to play this wave, but you're going to see that even though, we're wasting our second ultimates from Codex, basically from all of my characters, it is fine. So there we go. Now we're going into this wave with no cooldowns, right? It's very scary. But this is the reason why we actually have my Kazuyo here on Time Weave. Because this way, we are just stalling until our S3 comes up and can put attack down, and then the run is pretty safe. So we have 2 turns left, just have to stall, and you can see we have a ton of whale prayers out, so it should be pretty safe. And even though my Nilu does go down, it is okay. If I have her 6-star, she actually won't die there. But basically the run is still recoverable even though this happens, because we are able to stall for the cooldowns, and we don't get the time we've proc there, but still fine. And here you go, Lingluo. Usually you can't bring her into one-shot teams. She gets another S3 off. And even without the Nilu alive, because we have Kazuyo S3 here, we should be fine. There we go, we get our debuffs. And now we will, I believe, one-shot this, right? We're very close to it. Yeah, very close. And I think my Rilmocha has S2 up, so she will be able to finish off the other ads if my Kloss doesn't do it herself. But another thing to note is because we are bringing a blue and purple a dark character, they will get focused more often. And the best part about bringing Lingluo into this is because she's blue, she's gonna get hit a lot, and she's very, very, very tanky as a character, right? Now you can see literally everything is going wrong in this run, and you know, still we are able to clear. And this is why this one-shot comp is, I just kind of cooked this up today, and I've been testing it for over like 40-50 runs. I think, yeah, 40-50 runs. And I'm surprised that this works this well, but you know, Nilu really helps a lot in this, and it's just great because even if you fail the one shot, you're still able to win at a pretty high win rate. And you know, I tested this a lot and it seems pretty good. So thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll be testing out even more in other content because she seems pretty crazy, and I'll see you guys next video.